Hey guys, welcome back to the Old Paths. So glad to have you here today. Well, we got a lot of exciting news in this show. We dropped a whole bunch of stuff about the Picking the Plateau 2024 over on the live with the Resellers Locker Room. Stay tuned, we'll show you what we sold, but before we do that, we want to talk about that event and what it means to you. So stay tuned and we'll show you what's happening down at the Old Paths. All right, guys, so yeah, we had a lot of interesting developments occur Friday night last week on the live with the Reseller Locker Room guys. If you're not familiar with those guys, go check them out on YouTube. It's Ben Rocky Top Picker, Alex Beard King Picker, and Shane Soda City Flips. They have that podcast there. They do a great job on that. But we had a live with them to make a lot of announcements about the 2024 Highway 127 Picking the Plateau Reseller event coming up August 2nd, 2024. Now that is a while away, right at 5 months and a week or something like that. But we want to go over everything about that real quick in this video, give you the details, tell you how you can come if you're interested in attending. But the biggest news that came out of that was those guys, the Reseller Locker Room, Ben Rocky Top Picker, Alex Beard King Picker, and Shane Soda City Flips are now co-hosts of this event. They are our special co-hosts. They've signed on with us. This event is put on by the Two Old Guys Reselling podcast, co-hosted by the Resellers Locker Room. But we are super excited for all the news that's coming out of that. Already sold tickets. They're on sale now. We've sold quite a few tickets already. All I can say about that is space is very limited. If you do want to come, I would suggest not waiting to buy your tickets, because if you wait a month before or even farther out than that, we can't promise that there'll be tickets. And the reason I say we can't promise is because the venue has limited capabilities. It has a fire rating and we can't exceed it. So once we hit our magic number, that's it. We have to stop. So I'd love to have the whole community show up, but we can't have more than what they'll let us have. So that being said, if you are interested in coming to this event, this is going to be a major event for us. We're looking forward to it. We've already got about 40 people for sure coming to this event. Most of them resellers. We've got the My Reseller Genie has signed on to be a sponsor for this event. We really appreciate you, Faith and Paul, for sponsoring the event. We've got Lucky 7 Auction, Nathaniel and Ashley and Baby Gracie. They have signed on to be a sponsor for this event. So that leaves us with about 6 spots left. And if I am not mistaken, Josh told me he's doing some networking and doing some talking to people down in Omaha. He's been down there, and he may have filled up a couple more possibly of those spots. So the sponsorships are available. If you are interested in being a sponsor, what that includes, and I'll pop the graphic up over here, that's going to include $250 for sponsors. That's what we're asking. You'll get your name in the end credits of our podcast up to 6 weeks before the event. You'll also get a verbal shout out mention on the podcast up to 6 weeks before the event. That means every week up to 6 weeks before the event. You will get 2 tickets for the reselling event in that sponsorship. So if there's 2 of you coming and you say, well, we're going anyway, that's $50. Why don't we just sponsor? That's fine. And we're not begging. We've had people reach out wanting to do this, so we made it available. That's what this is. No pressure, not expecting everybody to jump on it. But it is limited. And the reason it's limited because you get table space for your merchandise, promotional items. You can sell stuff at it. You can give stuff away, whatever. That'll be provided. And then you can bring a banner, either the hanging banners and you're set up to hang it, or you can hang it from your table or something like that. Also, you will get, if you would like, a special episode to be on with me and Josh on the Two Old Guys Reselling podcast. Those spaces are extremely limited, so don't wait real long on that. If you would rather not be a sponsor, but you still want to support, we have the supporter level packages. For $100, we're doing the same thing, name in the end of the credits, up to 6 weeks, and we may do more than that, but 6 weeks is guaranteed. any name you want it to be as long as it's clean. A verbal shout out on the Two Old Guys Reselling podcast, again, up to 6 weeks, 6 times plus, more than likely, and it would include a ticket. So the ticket would be $25, and that's a $100 supporter package, so not that much more really. Those are available if you guys are interested, but the tickets are on sale. The link will be in the description of this video, and we are excited. Guys, as I said, tickets are moving. They're moving quickly. We sold a bunch day one. We're excited to see what's going to happen. They're limited. If you want to come, don't wait. And also, let me say this before we go into the rest of the video. Don't wait on lodging. If you're going to be here any length of time and you want a hotel, you want an Airbnb, you want something like that, you better book now. Those things fill up extremely fast. The Highway 127 sale is, like they call it, the world's longest yard sale, and it is huge. It comes right through our town. If you stay in the city of Crossville anywhere, you'll be no more than like 25 minutes away from the venue. So, and if you need help with that, send me a message on Instagram. I'll do everything I can to help you. But we're pumped. We're excited. The guys over there are excited. Josh is excited. We're ready for this event. We wish it was tomorrow. Well, maybe not tomorrow. Next week, because we got a lot to do. And by the way, there's announcements coming soon on the food, and I think it's going to be exciting, exciting, exciting. So stay tuned for all that. Now let's see what else is happening down here at the Old Paths. All right. So we sold pretty pathetic weekend, honestly, but it's okay. It is February. 13 orders, $422.79. That's way down from our normal weekend of usually at least 20 orders and usually closer to $750 to $800, sometimes more.
The more you list, the more you sell.
We got a comedian in the house, just so y'all know. Got a comedian in the house. She's jumping me, and you guys tell us in the comments, she's jumping me because I went from 20 a day to 10 a day where I could build my draft bank and kind of restore that, and it hasn't helped because we got busy. But anyway, I'm going back to 20 a day. But just for context, it does matter. Going from 20 to 10 a day for the last 2 weeks, our sales went this way. So it does matter. But we can get it back. We will get it back. Quit rolling your eyes. We will get it back. All right. Vintage 2003 Sarasota stamps. Wooden rubber stamp. This is Bare Limbs Wreath Design. This is a repeat buyer going to Debbie. If you're watching, which I really doubt, but if you are, we appreciate you so much. But that sold for $14.24. Repeat buyer. We appreciate that very much. Then we sold this really neat, really, really cool Wild Quest Cage Rage Chomping Shark. Ain't that wild looking? He's coming for you, Tanya. Yeah, she's not afraid of sharks. If that was a snake, get her. This sold for $24.99. Next up, this is a great example, by the way. I talk later in this video about my favorite things to sell. Probably not Tanya's favorite things to sell. When I get her on the other side of the camera, we'll do this with her. But this is one of my favorite things to sell, and I'll give you context. This is a vintage 99 Marvel Alpha Flight Puck action figure. He's okay, there's my hand. That's how big he is. 2.5 inches tall. Little bitty action figure. Nothing there much, right? Nothing to him. $14.54. I got him in a box full of action figures, wrestlers, all kinds of superhero stuff. Probably had like a nickel, a dime, a quarter, something like that in him, and he sold for almost $15. So I'm telling you, that big bulk stuff can pay off sometimes, and I love selling that stuff because that's minimal. A little bubble mailer, poly mailer, and he's done. Easy, easy. Love it. Now, we move on to a few crafting items. This is a set of Sizzix Winter Botanicals and Phrase from our home. 2-piece lot. They sold for $18.99. That all came from the stamp lot we bought a month ago or something like that. We're still selling a ton of that stuff. Glad to finally see this thing go. This is probably 2 years old. I'm really not sure why it held on so long. It's a Wellness 20-ounce stainless steel tumbler, insulated drinking cup, $14.99, but it took a long time for that to sell.
It's not a Stanley.
It's not a Stanley, that's right. Or a, what's the other famous one? Yeti. It's not a Yeti. We've sold some Yetis. They move pretty fast. Stanley, Yeti, all them, they move pretty quick. Charlie Brown, August 3rd through 9th, 2002 50th anniversary edition with Charlie Brown and Angelica from the Rugrats on the TV Guide. This again come from a big lot. I bought a bunch of these. That one sold for $8.99. It'll ship for $3. We'll make $5 on it, so $4 or $5 on it. So we're happy with that, and it's just fun to sell that stuff. This is probably down, maybe 2 more things left from the Looney Tunes lot we bought a long time ago. This is a salt and pepper shaker, Roadrunner, and Wile E. Coyote. These are so cool. We sold probably 5 or 6 of those along with tons of Looney Tunes stuff, mostly Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, but that sold for $23.03. And like I said, it's basically new in the box, but the guy that had it had passed away, and his wife told me he would buy 2, 3, 4 of all of his stuff. That way he could display some and put a couple up for later. And I'm like, that's literally a reseller's dream, right? We want to find that yard sale. But that was neat. Like that for sure. Next up, we sold a lot of stuff. This is 3 different sales in one. Buyer bought 3 things. Bought this Stampin' Up! Summer by the Sea set. Then bought Snoopy Stampability stamp from 2005. Then bought this Stampers Anonymous, which is like columns with a woman's face and a butterfly design. All 3 of those together. And I love crafts because they will buy multiples, but all those together sold for $52.03. That saves us shipping and everything. And I did make a deal with this lady. She wanted to know if we'd give her 25% off, and I told Tanya, I'm like, well, 25% off, but we're making 3 sales. By the time we save 2 shipping charges, it's about 25%. So sure, worked out good, made more sales. Then we sold, this actually came with the GoPro Tanya's holding. Didn't need it, didn't want it. It's just the case that came with it. Threw it on eBay for $12.99. It took a few months, but it sold, just the empty box. It's going out for $12.99. Sold another stamp. This was stamp weekend, I'm just telling you. This one is American Art Stamp. Listen, honey, God didn't promise it would be easy, but he said he just promised it would be worth it. Truth. Very much truth. And that one sold for $14.99. And finally, on the smaller stuff, you guys scoop back. I'll let you show that down here. This was one big lot of stamps that sold, all those together, for $22.99. Now, on to the last 2 bigger. We didn't have a lot of big, but bigger. Rack 5, World Bazaar Snow Globe. Head around here. Rack 5 right there. I do believe right here, I think.
Oh, don't drop it.
Oh, that would be pretty horrible. Drop what you just sold. That's a nightmare. That is it. World Bazaar Snow Globe Nativity. Really pretty. Not worth much. I figured it would be worth some, but not worth a ton, but just a very pretty item. I'll sit it down. Tanya can do a close-up on it. It sold for $26. I would have thought it would have sold for more, but, you know, somebody's going to enjoy it, and that's why we do what we do, too, so hope they do. And last but not least, Vintage Mirabella Sleeping Beauty Cross Stitch G4. Right here. It's going to be down in here, probably on the very bottom. Man. Oh, How about right on the top, if I'd pay attention? Pays to pay attention. No, Tanya's now laughing at me. This is one of those, I can't believe it. It's not butter. No, not really. I can't believe it that they sell for that. But look, this is the vintage Mirabilia Sleeping Beauty Nora Corbett cross stitch pattern. It's rare, from 1994. That's how thick it is. There is no cross stitch floss. There is nothing but the pattern. That's just the pattern, right? Nothing else. $69.99. I'm telling you guys, if you ever catch anything from us, it's this. Don't overlook cross stitch patterns, needlepoint, all that stuff. Look at it, because it can be worth big money. That's our sales for this weekend. 13 for, what did I say? I done forgot. $422.79. All right, there's what 13 packages for 400, and I believe it was 30-ish, right at $430 looks like. Nothing too majorly big today, which is a nice, it's not, can't complain about that. Nice change of pace every now and then to get a slower day, but we'll take that overall. Pretty good weekend. All right, guys, so today on our topic, we want to talk about our top 5 favorite things to sell on eBay. And I struggle with top 5s, top 3s, top 10s, because I don't have it might change. I like to sell what makes money. I like to sell what people are looking for. I like to sell what makes people happy. So when you account all that in, that may be, heaven forbid, it may be clothing. I hate selling clothing. But if I can find somebody that really, really loves something and sell that to them, and I get pleasure out of the sale, they get pleasure out of the purchase, we make money, it is a fully enjoyable experience, then I will enjoy that. Now, saying all that to say this, I hate clothes as a whole. They're hard to list. Especially for those of you that sell a lot of clothes, measuring this, measuring that. I don't do that stuff. I don't find it enjoyable. Now, if I found a pair of $100 jeans, I'd do it. So, just for clarity. But number 5, if I'm rating in general my favorite things to sell on eBay, number 5 would be electronics. I'm getting away, and this is the reason it's number 5, I'm getting away from the bulkier electronics. There's money there, but there's also high risk of return there. I don't sell near as many old radio units, old CD player units, old stuff like that. I will still pick them up if they're in really good condition or the price is just too much to say no to. I'll sell them, like that, but it's just too much. It takes up so much space, and it's hard to deal with. And the worst thing, I don't care about the space, and I don't care about the hard to deal with. But the biggest thing is you sell a $200 unit, and it goes somewhere, and they take it out, they use it, it doesn't work for whatever reason, even though you tested it, and you tried it, and you made sure it worked. They get it and it's not working, or so they say. Now, I'm not questioning everybody that buys and saying that they're lying. I'm sure there are some liars out there. I'm sure there's also some honest people out there that things happen and the unit just goes bad, or carrier drops it off the back of a truck, and no matter how much you package stuff, sometimes you can't help that stuff. But overall, I love electronics because that was my generation. But there are a lot of smaller things. I bought some Bose radios this weekend. We actually found 5 yard sales on Thursday. No, I'm lying. That was yesterday, Saturday. We found 5 yard sales, and 2 of them next door to each other. Both of them had Bose radios for sale. So the first one I bought was $100, and yes, I did pay up for that. But when I comped it, it was like $300, $400, up to $800, and I was excited. I was like, man, this will be sweet. I asked the lady, I said, does this work? And this is probably a cardinal sin right here. Yes, it works. Okay, I trusted her. It was sitting there. I should have said, can I plug it up? You've got CDs for sale. I can throw a CD in it, try it. The radio works and sounds really good. Really, really good. The CD player will play the first track and it will stop about 30 seconds in. It won't play nothing else. And I'm like, man, maybe some of y'all know the trick to that. Maybe it just needs cleaned or something. If you know that, let me know. But if it, we're just going to keep it in the house because it's too good to get rid of. And we could probably sell it for parts and make some of our money back. But I was telling Tanya, I'm like, we can put this in our house, in the back room of our house, and we could enjoy this thing. So why not? But it's just it's an easy market. You're going to see that kind of stuff. You're going to see the old Bose radios. You're going to see, JBL speakers. You're going to see that kind of stuff out and about. So it's easy enough to find on eBay, and you're researching. It's not that hard to sell. Number 4, and this one's because I am a child of the 80s and the 90s, but I love to sell video games. I'm totally out of the loop for the last 15 to 20 years on video games. I know nothing. I don't know what Call of Duty is, really. I turned it on one time and I was like, nope, not for me, too much language, and got done with that. But I've never really played it. I've never really played any of this new stuff. And my video gaming is once a year, me and Logan play a game of Madden at Thanksgiving time. We play our Thanksgiving game. We really enjoy that. And that might be the only time I play all year. But I'm going back nostalgia-wise to my childhood. Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, even on up till my later years where I would play Resident Evil, the zombie games and stuff. I did play that stuff. But I've been married this year, will be 20 years. Congratulate me and apologize to Tanya, right? Sympathy cards for Tanya. But I played all that kind of stuff, but I just fell out of it when we got married. We had Logan. We just, you grow up and you move on and things take a back seat. But I still love selling that stuff because it's a huge market. But again, you have a very hard to deal with customer base in video games. If everything's good and fine, they're usually good and fine. But if there's one little problem, the video game market can be horrible for returns. It can be horrible for complaints, horrible for feedback. So be aware of that. But I still enjoy selling them because you can usually get them cheap enough. I sell the systems. I sell the games. My unicorn, and it's not a huge bolo. It's a bolo, but it's not a huge one. I have been wanting to find a couple of systems that I've never found. One is the Sega Dreamcast. I had the Sega Dreamcast when it was new and I loved it. That thing was beyond its time and it never got the credit it deserved, but I loved it. And I've been wanting to find it just out in the wild and buy it and sell it, maybe play it, but buy it and sell it eventually. Another one is the Sega CD. I remember the Sega CD way back. It was beyond its time too. These things, people wasn't ready for those systems. Want to find that one. And I'd love to find an old Game Gear, an old Sega Game Gear. You just don't see those that much anymore. But, I love those things. They were so cool. Number 3, anything toys. I shouldn't say anything toys because I don't enjoy Barbie really all that much. I'll sell it because it's worth money sometimes, but I don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy something like, let me hold on just a minute. Let me find you something right here. Check this guy out. Marvin the Martian, little action figure. He hangs out on my wall because he's not worth a whole lot. But if you find a box full of these things for like $5 and you've got like 100 toys in there or more, you can just pick out, because the thing is, there's going to be more than that. That's probably Looney Tunes when you open that thing up. For instance, I bought, y'all probably remember the wrestling stuff. I bought this huge tub. She gave me the tote with it for like $40, and I've sold all of it just about. I still got some of the wrestling stuff, but there was so much stuff in there. If you couldn't make money off of that, you was doing something wrong. And you get to go back through your childhood, the nostalgia of the things you played with. And just like little Marvin the Martian, I enjoy seeing the things that I had. And yet I don't have to put them up. I don't have to store them. I don't have to keep them somewhere to remember them 10 years down the road. I'm getting to pass them through to somebody else that will enjoy them just as much as I am getting to sell them. Number two, I never would have thought in my wildest dreams this would be on my list of favorite things to sell. But thanks to Scott and Christine over at Trading Post Pickers for turning us on to this, tuning us into it. Silverware. I am absolutely blown away. Y'all have seen some of the silverware if you watch us regularly that we deal with. We had that one buy, $40 buy, that turned into $10,000 worth of listings. I don't know another category that can produce so much money as silverware. $10K out of $40 is ridiculous. That's like not even going to make a penetration on the paper for a buying cost. It's like less than 1%. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I don't know. Is it less than 1%? $40 into 10K, $1,000 would be 10%, so $500 would be 5%, so $50 would be 1%, right? Am I right? I think I'm correct there. So $40 would be less than 1% buying cost. Who's going to do that? I've never heard of that. We honestly probably never done 1% before. We keep it around 6 and 7%, but 1%. It's just ridiculous, and I didn't know it when I bought it, or I'd have gave the guy more. I'm not trying to just take it, and I don't feel wrong if he makes that price either. But it's ridiculous how good it can be. Saying all that to say this: not all silverware is equal in value, but if you find a bundle of silverware and they say, "Hey, I'll take $10 for that bundle," it's really hard not to make money, especially if you get, say, like 50 pieces of silverware. And you make up little lots of spoons, lots of forks. If you can't sell it as a set or don't want to sell it as a set because it's worth more individually, you can usually sell those things for usually at the cheapest $15 and $20 a listing. So if that's the case and you come away with 10 of those listings at $20 a piece, there's $200. I mean, off of a $10 investment, it's really hard not to do well, especially if you do just a little bit of research and learn your craft in that area. And the number one thing that I love to sell on eBay, it's not a specific item. It's not a specific category. It's not a specific type. It's just unique items. I love finding anything that is unique, that is different. And the problem with that is you'll have a hard time comping what you find. I have found that to be true, but a lot of times if you don't find another one, you can name your own price. I want to walk you back here and just show you some of the unique items that we kind of have currently. And, not super, super unique, but how many people has a Minnie Mouse Post-it note pad? She is missing her nose. That's why she's not sold. But how many people have that? And some of this stuff isn't that unique, but look at that bell back there. Let me get you guys closer. That old brass bell, I found one of those ever on eBay for the last 2 years. Tanya picked up these gourd geese looking pumpkin things. I mean, just, pretty neat stuff. You name it. Look at this Haiti bowl. That's a cool bowl. I've got into this kind of stuff too. Bainbridge, I'm not sure if that's super expensive. I think it was like 40 or $50, but it's just so neat. And one thing eBay has done to me and buying stuff like this is it has gave me a greater appreciation of all this type of stuff. Oh yeah, let me show you this. Look at Bugs Bunny right here. This is a Bugs and Daffy. Let me take this out and show you guys. This is Bugs Bunny and Daffy bookends, and they are super, super neat. I try to get out of the picture there. I just love those. They are so cool. And you don't find a lot of comps for that stuff on eBay. But if you want to buy it, it's probably going to come from a store like ours that buys stuff like that. And I know it's, can be difficult to price stuff like that. Check out that Cowboys locker. I love stuff like that. Not the Cowboys, but the locker. Not a Cowboys fan, by the way. 49ers all the way. They lost Super Bowl. Who would have thought? But I love selling unique items. But I appreciate it. And that's our topic. But what do you love to sell? Tell us down in the comments what you love to sell. All right, guys, that's going to do it this week. One last time, if you have not checked out the Eventbrite page down in the description, go check it out. Maybe you want to come this year. And by the way, I meant to mention this too. Kids 12 and under are free. If you have kids 12 and under, do not buy a ticket for them. They are free admission. No money at all needed for their food, for their admission, nothing. Everybody else, we're just trying to alleviate the cost of food. Because there's going to be a lot of food. And listen, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, it's going to be good. Last year it was simpler. This year it's probably not going to be quite as simple. It's going to be a little bit more elaborate. But I'm going to have all that kind of stuff worked out very soon. Me and Tanya and Josh, we was all talking about it. His wife Casey have been talking about it, and we're excited and can't wait to spread more of those things around. By the way, I didn't mention this also. Nathaniel of Lucky 7 Auction, our good friend, our brother, man, he's my brother. He's going to hold a live auction for us at the event that is going to benefit charity. We're going to name that charity very soon, but we are pumped about that. We're having all kinds of stuff going on, and we are super duper excited. So buy your tickets now. Don't wait. But guys, thank you so very much for being here with us again. And we're going to see you right back here again very soon. And until then, just keep seeking the old paths.